WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. It may seem hard to believe, but the 2020 presidential campaign still has 11 months left in it. The Democratic field has already faced off on the debate stage several times, and candidates are already beginning to drop out, including Senator Kamala Harris. But two candidates have joined the fray, and one of those newcomers was in the Magnolia State today. Courtney Ann Jackson has more on what brings Michael Bloomberg to Mississippi.
4 Southern mayors have an open letter to the presidential candidates that they penned back in September. Jackson's Mayor Chokwe Lumumba among them.
Mississippi has often been forgotten in that conversation.
Criminal justice reform was the focus of Tuesday's roundtable, and Mike Bloomberg tried to address what sparked controversy for years right off the bat, saying in his opening remarks to the group and again to reporters later that
On the practice of stop and frisk, I certainly got it wrong, and I regret that, and I'm sorry.
He also used the opportunity to unveil his criminal justice reform policy proposal.
Places like Jackson have different challenges, different opportunities, and different perspectives than other parts of the country. But the challenges facing the people of this city are the challenges that our party has to confront head on.
He suggested initiatives aimed at reducing the prison population, cutting youth incarceration in half, and cutting crime with community-based programs.
And I know that we can do it, because in New York City we showed how much progress is possible.
A handful of Donald Trump supporters held signs and waited across the street from the venue.
Just because Bloomberg's a millionaire and got money he can throw around does not impress us. We think Trump's doing a great job, and I think if we give him another 4 years, he's going to completely turn this country around.
But Bloomberg disagrees, saying there are 2 key things he wants to see happen.
No second term for Donald Trump, and 2, stop pulling people apart. We need to bring this country together.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
Further action on a short-term rental ordinance in Starkville will have to wait until next year. Tonight, aldermen held a public hearing on the adoption of the ordinance. Several members of the board had hoped to vote on the measure tonight, but after almost 2 hours of debate, aldermen voted 5-2 to table the issue. The motion came after several Starkville residents and some alderman members raised concerns that the ordinance discriminates against short-term rentals while long-term rentals are left alone. The city of Columbus's budget looks a lot different than it did this time last year, and in a green way. After being over $71,000 in the hole in October of 2018, as of October of this year, the city's general fund is over $1.1 million. Last year, Mayor Robert Smith designed a saving plan to get the city back on track. That plan included generating money from salaries and benefits from positions that were left open, including 9 in the police department. That alone saved the city nearly $500,000. Total employee savings were from 32 open positions across several departments, including an assistant police chief position, which Mayor Smith says will be filled in 2020. Plans are moving forward to upgrade streetlights in Columbus. At tonight's City Council meeting, a member from the Path Company talked about the benefits of LED lights. In all, more than 4,300 of the energy-efficient fixtures are expected to light up the friendly city. Mayor Smith says lights still need to be placed along the Riverwalk. If all the equipment arrives on time, work should begin in January. A police department in our area will soon be without an officer for about a year as he is deployed with the U.S. Army Reserve. As our Allie Martin reports, it's not the first time this small department has had to make accommodations as its officers are called to wear a different uniform.
Things are always busy for New Albany Police Sergeant Joe Keaton. He and his wife are foster parents. He's a deacon at his church, and he also serves as a platoon sergeant with the U.S. Army Reserve.
I just wanted to come in and serve the community and help people.
Next month, Sergeant Keaton will be deployed to Afghanistan. He has been in the Army Reserve for 31 years and has had 1 prior deployment. Keaton says being deployed once before makes things a little easier, but he still will miss his family and friends.
It's nothing really different, just different site.
Yes, sir.
Same job, different site.
Sergeant Keaton isn't the only officer on the force to be deployed. Corporal Stephen Nolan is in the Mississippi National Guard and recently returned from his first deployment as part of a NATO peacekeeping mission in Kosovo. Corporal Nolan says having a boss who supports service members helps a great deal.
Well, the job was very easy because the Police Department, they're very military supportive, so I had no issues whatsoever with my job. Very good leadership here.
Of course, when an officer is deployed, crime doesn't stop and calls for service still must be answered. So New Albany Police Chief Chris Robertson and the entire force make necessary adjustments.
Most agencies, me included, we either use reserve officers or we do, a conditional hire type thing. An officer comes in, works for, up to a year, and then with the understanding that, when the officer's deployed comes back, he'll have to resume his duties.
Both Keaton and Nolan say they take great pride in serving their community and their country. In New Albany, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Chief Robertson has had as many as 3 officers deployed at one time.
Mainly clear this evening. We had some activities in the form of some Christmas parades, including downtown Tupelo. You can see that action right there, but all quiet in Vernon, Louisville, and Columbus as well here. On our Tuesday evening, temperatures are down into the 30s in many spots, and it looks like we'll cool down a few more degrees. Our forecast lows mid to low 30s. The wind is calm. It will be a quiet but chilly night. Now, tomorrow, your Tuesday, oh wait, today's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. A chilly start. We are in the 30s, but by noon and thereafter, mid 50s to low 60s. Our afternoon temperatures, winds from the west and northwest at 5 to 10. We have some rain on the way. We'll talk about it coming up.
Turning to some heartbreaking news tonight, a man is dead after an apparent industrial accident in Louisville. This incident happened at the Winston Plywood and Veneer around 11 o'clock this morning. Now an investigation is underway. Our Stephanie Poole spent the day in Louisville and has more.
Winston Plywood and Veneer looks quiet from the outside, but inside the long-standing Winston County facility, a tragic work-related death has the community in shock.
At approximately 11:21 a.m. this morning, the 911 received a call from 1160 South Church Avenue at Winston Plywood and Veneer, and that there was an industrial accident.
Sources tell WCBI that 21-year-old Brandon Foster was working on a wood chipping machine when the incident happened. Investigators have not yet released an official cause or what machine Foster was working on. Louisville Police Chief Sean Holderness says it's likely debris was a factor in the accident.
At approximately 11:27, fire and patient care arrived on scene, as well as a couple of police officers, because we didn't really know what we had to maintain the scene and give care to the individual.
Coroner Scott Gregory says Foster died at the scene of the accident inside the plant. Louisville Mayor Will Hill says it's in times of tragedy the Winston County community comes together.
As being a face and voice of Louisville to some degree, is that we as a community must come together, bond together, to be there to support those who've lost, whether it's possessions or the most important thing, lost a life. And so we want to bond together, be there for them, be there for our industrial partner. Winston Plywood is such a community partner and part of our community in so many ways.
Atlas Holdings bought the plywood mill in 2014 and later rebuilt after a devastating tornado hit the facility that year. It officially reopened in 2017 and employed more than 300 people at the time. Mayor Hill says compassion will hold the town and the folks that work at Winston Plywood together.
It is a tough day. It's a tough day anyway, anytime you're dealing with tragedy with your friends and neighbors, and some of which you may not know, but this is what community is all about.
Now, the plant is temporarily closed. OSHA is investigating the apparent accident along with local officials. Coroner Gregory says that an autopsy has been ordered for Foster. Now, Winston Plywood and Veneer released a statement late this afternoon saying, in part, it is working with investigators, clergy, and crisis support personnel. CEO Bruce Warren says, quote, Winston Plywood is devastated by the loss of our friend and colleague as a result of this accident. Our team at the mill is a family in every way, and our family has suffered a heart-wrenching loss today. We don't have any words to express our profound grief, and we are praying with the family, end quote. Our hearts definitely go out to them. But time now to send things back over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith, not as cold as last night, but it's still cold
It's still
tonight.
chilly out there. And, you know, we're looking at Minneapolis right now. Let's go to the Twin Cities, 32 degrees. So we are actually in that same ballpark here in Columbus, 34. So most of the nation now cooling down, but not extremely cold relative to what we have already seen so far this season. Back with you, full forecast.
BI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
A few more quiet days coming our way. Right now we have a chilly but tame evening across our region. Let's go down to Jackson. Live view, Interstate 55 north of downtown Jackson. You can see traffic moving along just fine. No weather worries there or here or in Alabama, everywhere across the Twin States. On our Wednesday, looking pretty good. A fair amount of sunshine, maybe a few friendly clouds out there. Upper 50s to low 60s locally. Mid-60s closer to Hattiesburg and the Gulf Coast. Mobile 66 tomorrow. So we've had some clouds drift down through the region today. We're clearing things out right now, and looks like we'll have a nice and sunny day tomorrow. But look at all this active weather down here in California. Rain showers developing, a lot of cloud cover. This is our Friday rainmaker all the way out there in California right now. Notice that little kink in the jet stream. That is that disturbance, and it will roll our way as we get into early Friday. That goes away. The weekend pretty good. And then we'll have a bigger dip in the jet stream as we get into early next week. And that will set up some more wet weather as we get into early next week. So rain chances 0 Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yes, we will have a chance for some showers around here. Maybe a rumble of thunder. And as we get into next week, a chance for some more rain. There's Mr. Breeze already in the holiday spirit. Scott, look, check it out. He's ready to go. Tomorrow we're looking at 30s in the morning, 50s by noon, and into the lower 60s here in Columbus. 60 for you in Starkville and West Point. Louisville 61, Ackerman at 60 degrees. Oxford 57, maybe a shot at 60 in Tupelo. Officially, though, 59 degrees, 58 in Fulton, 60 or so in Aberdeen. And for you in the West Alabama, too, upper 50s to around 60, mostly sunny. Winds about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So Futurecast picking up on some high cloudiness for tomorrow and also into Thursday too. Now, Thursday night, the clouds will thicken on up, and by the time you wake up on Friday, it does appear we will have some showers around. So you will likely need the umbrella during the day Friday, and some of that rain could affect the high school football games down there in Hattiesburg Friday, but by Saturday, things will dry out a little bit around the region. Can't roll out an isolated shower on Sunday. Most of that moisture stays away, but we mentioned that next system as we get into early next week on Monday, especially late in the day into Monday night and early Tuesday, we'll have a chance for some more wet weather. So here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 61. Clouds increase. Thursday, 62. Areas of rain, maybe a rumble of thunder or two. Friday, 50s. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny Saturday, increasing clouds Sunday, low 60s for the weekend. There's a chance for some rain and storms on Monday, 69. Some lingering showers on Tuesday. We fall back into the 50s. Scott?
Mr. Breeze would have looked perfect here at the 71st annual Reed's Tupelo Christmas Parade. It rolled through the streets tonight. Crowds lined the streets to catch sight of their favorite floats and Old St. Nick himself. This year's theme was A Christmas of Peace and Harmony. First place winners in tonight's parade were ICC, Tupelo Buffalo Park, and Royalty Dance Company. Well, Christmas is a time of giving, but for some it's also a time of taking. We find out how to keep the Grinches at bay when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. If you ordered gifts online any day now, those packages will start showing up on your doorstep. Holiday package delivery usually means a spike in porch pirates, people waiting to take those packages while you're not at home. Our Cash Matlock has more on how local law enforcement are working to prevent this.
It never fails.
Somebody's there and they're breaking into my house.
Every year, thousands of packages are stolen off people's doorsteps and porches. Lieutenant Andy Long with the Amory Police Department says getting caught taking something that's not yours can land a person serious jail time.
If they take it off the porch, in the state of Mississippi, that would be trespassing, which is a misdemeanor, and then the theft of it would be determined on the amount of the product, depending on what you had delivered or what they wind up taking.
If the stolen item is worth $1,000 or more, Long says that's considered grand larceny, which is a felony. Aberdeen Police Chief Henry Randall says there are several steps you can take to prevent something like this from happening to you.
Make sure you got somebody there to pick it up, because you do know that holiday season brings about a lot of activity that's unwanted.
Make sure you're talking to your neighbors. Neighborhood watch could be as many as you and your neighbor.
Lieutenant Long says so far this holiday season they haven't had any reports of stolen packages, but they did have one earlier this year.
Thanks to a doorbell video with some high quality video, we were able to identify that suspect and successfully prosecute him.
If you see someone taking your delivery or your neighbors, police advise you to not confront the thief.
Hey, if you see someone that's not from the neighborhood, or you see someone in the backyard, please pick up the phone, call 911 or your local agency to get a car in that area, because a brief description of someone goes a long way.
Keep your eyes on them. Don't try to interact with them. Don't try to stop them, hold them. You'll wind up, possibly having some civil or possibly criminal issues going on with yourself.
A recent study by Comcast shows 1 in 4 people have had a package stolen from their home. Again, police say if you have anything stolen or see something suspicious in your neighborhood, call 911. It's awarded to the best collegiate football player in the state of Mississippi, your 24th annual Connerly Award recipient, when we come back.
WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb.
Hosting 24th ranked Butler Ole Miss head coach Kermit Davis was stressing for the Rebels to do a better job with the team's transition defense. The Rebels did, only giving up 2 points in transition. Unfortunately, it was Butler guard Kamar Baldwin serving as the Rebels' Achilles heel. Let's get to Oxford. Ole Miss welcoming 24th ranked Butler into the pavilion first half. Guard Aaron Thompson on the drive. Kamar Baldwin finishing with the 3. The Rebs trailing 7-2. Rebels on the break. Guard Devontae Schuler with a bounce pass to guard Bryce Williams, who makes an acrobatic layup. The Rebels trailing 9-6. Later in the half, Schuler comes off the screen, finds an open forward. Cut in C for the alley-oop slam. Ole Miss goes on to the half, trailing 31-22. Second half, Schuler with the ball. The hesitation dribble before he gets the shot to go. Ole Miss trailing 36-27. Guard Brian Tyree taking the handoff, fights his way to the rim, gets fouled and makes the layup. Rebels down by 12. And now Butler in transition. Forward Jordan Tucker finds Baldwin at the top of the key. The shot is good. Bulldogs take a 16-point lead. Later, Tucker's pass is stolen by Tyree. Finishes with the two-hand jam. The Rebs cut the deficit back to 12. Tyree just gives the rock to him. He does the rest. The step back 3 drains it. Rebels down only by 6 with a few minutes to go. But Butler responding quick. Baldwin with the isolation knocks down the fadeaway mid-range J. He would go on to have 31 points tonight, and those 31 points push the Bulldogs past the Rebels 67-58. Here's head coach Davis' thoughts on his team after the game.
Guys, we got 2 guys that are supposed to, were named the preseason first and second team all SEC, and we're struggling. I mean, tonight they're 8 for 26, 10 for 26. We're doing that a bunch right now, and so, and they're trying, but we just, just right now the way our team's built, those 2 guys got to score for us.
When you think running backs in the state of Mississippi, chances are Mississippi State's Kylan Hill comes to mind. The Columbus native is already known as the Southeastern Conference's leading rusher, and after tonight will be remembered as one of the best collegiate players in the state of Mississippi. Hill was honored as the 24th recipient of the annual C Spire Connerly Trophy, which recognizes the best college football player in the state. Hill's season stats speak volumes: 1,347 yards rushing for 10 touchdowns. And as a born and raised Mississippian, no honor could be better for the Columbus native to earn.
They got great athlete. Plumlee himself, he had an incredible season. So, for me to win it was huge. Growing up as a kid, this is an award every Mississippi athlete should want to win.
That he loves me, I love him too. But that's, I have 3 children at home and 120 sons in the program, and there's an old saying: if you don't treat them right, you can't teach them right. And I think that Kylan knows I care more about him as a student and a person as I do a player. And it tugged at my heartstrings to hear him say that.
Let's get to some high school action. Rivalry hoops. The Lowndes County clash between New Hope and Caledonia. Lady Feds trailing in the third. That's Shantae Kidd knocking down the triple from the wing. New Hope would squash any chance of a Caledonia comeback. Anna Prince with the sweet dish inside to Jaquela Sherrod for the 2. Lady Trojans up double digits. And adding to the lead in the fourth, the swing pass to Reed McLaughlin, driving with the baseline and pulls up for the floater for two. New Hope dominating its rival. They get the win 62-21. And now time for the boys action after that one. Running it back with the boys, Caledonia and New Hope facing off. Feds get on the board first. Lee for three, nothing but nylon. Wouldn't take long for New Hope to answer back from that. R.L. Maddox jumps to the outlet pass, takes it right to the rim. Hoop plus the harm, a tie ball game early in the first. And the quarter coming to a close. New Hope with the numbers. Palin Stevenson finds a wide open Asia Brownlee for three. Trojans take the lead, and the Trojans take the ball game as well. New Hope coming away with the win 81-64 against Caledonia and sweeping the rivalry matchups this evening.
Love to see that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But we love Caledonia too.
Definitely,
so,
definitely.
But someone has to win.
Thanks, Courtney. Well, let's look at your forecast when we come back.
Mostly sunny tomorrow, 61. Clouds increase Thursday, still in the lower 60s in many spots. Areas of rain Friday, down into the 50s. Your weekend should be okay, although can't rule out a shower or two Sunday. Another better chance for rain as we get into Monday afternoon into Tuesday.
I guess now Courtney won't have to worry about any hard rains during Friday night
No,
football.
I don't, but Tom and Chris might have to on Friday.
No, don't worry about them. You'll be here.
No, I'll be here though, warm and cozy.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.